Today we'll be talking about the PD1775. So this is a vintage inspired chronograph, and this is an absolute stunner.
The retro-inspired look takes us back to the classics of the latter half of the 20th century. The fluidity and softer contours of the design. Even the flanks are slightly convex. I love the variety of brushed and polished surfaces on this timepiece. The arch of the lugs is aggressive, yet downplayed by their rounded contours. The lug hoods are finely brushed to seamlessly integrate with the bracelet endlinks. We get a slightly domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, adding to the retro styling but not tipping the watch too old-fashioned. The panda eyes are silver, so distinct on the pale blue sunburst dial. The larger than average date window at 6 o'clock is also a neat cutout.
It's amazing. Like, this watch looks really good, and it costs just $55. And you know that if a watch doesn't really meet my standard, I will tell you I can't recommend this watch. But this one I do recommend. I absolutely love it. Let me tell you about this $55 piece. By the way, the link is in the description, so do check it out if you're after a sharp price. And now let's dive deeper and talk about the PD1775 in detail.
With regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 37.5mm, a height of 12.6, a lug-to-lug length of 46mm, a weight of 130 grams, and a lug width of 20mm. In essence, these are unisex dimensions, easily fitting the smaller and the larger wrist circumferences. On my 6.5-inch wrist, this watch looks just right. If we look at the profile, the polished flank is all about fluidity, so smooth, rounding the middle section. The cushioning of the convex flank multiplies the elegance factor. Also note how the lugs fall off to an aggressive downward slant. The transition to the brushed lug hoods is performed via smooth bevels. The edges are soft, yet do not look smudged, rather distinct and assertive. The fixed bezel rounding the dome sapphire crystal is also polished, signaling that this timepiece is aimed at a more dress watch look. Light play across the multiple facets and angles create captivating light play. And now is the perfect time to touch on the bracelet. Now, there are some undeniable perks and some definite shortcomings with this bracelet, so let's discuss them in detail. Starting with the positives. The inverted endlinks help keep the lug-to-lug length to a very modest 46mm, and a big thank you for that. Also note the almost seamless integration of the end links with the head, all due to the outer links having the brush styling, complementing the effect of the lug hoods. The 5-link design is very attractive indeed, supported by screw pins, quite a surprise at this super budget price point of $55. The clasp is signed and the folding wing is milled. So far I'm very impressed. What I'm not too overwhelmed with are the visible gaps between the links, leading to relatively low tolerances. But the other side of that is that the link fluidity and link articulation are superb. On the right-hand side of the watch case, we get a signed screw-in crown, positioned between retro-styled chrono pushers. The sapphire crystal is ever so slightly domed, accenting the fluidity of the aesthetics, also adding chic flair and a luxury feel to the piece. The anti-reflective treatment provides clear vision of the already high contrast dial. Followed down the deep rehaut to center stage. The minute track is printed on a white ring under the rehaut, with the second chapters in finer font on the blue between the chromed hour battens. The sunburst silver panda eyes of the chronograph subdials are stylish and complement the polished surfaces of the watch case. Also, considering the sunburst blue hue of the main dial, the ensemble of light plays reflecting under the crystal are very impressive indeed. The date window at 6 o'clock is another plus, adding to the functionality and even the symmetry of the dial. The lume profile is another gem on this dress watch. Brightness and longevity are not ideal. After all, it is a budgetly priced Pagani design, yet the idea and the actual design of the lume is very good. The watch is powered by Seiko VK64 hybrid quartz, meaning that the seconds hand does follow through in a smooth and fluid fashion, and you can pick up the watch with a blue or a black dial.
I think we said everything there is to be said about the PD1775, but what I want to mention, The date window at 6 o'clock. I absolutely love it. It brings this design from something beautiful and sporty to something that is functional and so much needed for a utility all-day wearer. I love the dimensions here. So we get a case diameter of 37.5 millimeters. We get a lug-to-lug length of 46 millimeters. These nimble dimensions, they do make quite a big of change for someone with a smaller wrist size. Like my wrist size is 6.5 inches. It's not major. And this watch sits perfectly on it. That 5-link bracelet design, that is awesome. It's just everything about this watch just shouts a bit of luxury, a bit of that vintage retro feel, but something classy and chic. I love it. I absolutely do. And for $55, it's tough to think that you'll find something more attractive and more refined than this piece, because usually at this level of refinement you'll be paying $100 plus. Now, of course, there are some negatives about this watch. Of course there are, but then the price and the value that we get from it, I think they outweigh those negatives. Anywho, the link to this watch is in the description below the video, so do check it out if you're after a sharp price. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.